I'm Jeanette and I teach drawing and painting courses, and today I'll be showing you how to paint a waterfall in acrylics. I'll be using just 7 colours today, so that's 2 blues, cerulean blue, ultramarine blue, a permanent rose, a phthalo green, a titanium white, lemon yellow and burnt umber. And I'll be using a selection of brushes, both round and flat, and also a sponge. And I'll be painting on a canvas today. So let's begin. Okay, so I've drawn a quick sketch on the canvas to begin with, and I've also painted a dark brown background for where the waterfalls are going to be. So this part needs to be dry, which is why I've painted that part earlier. Okay, so let's begin with the sky first of all, and I've got some cerulean blue here mixed with some white, some titanium white, and I'm going to start by painting with horizontal strokes across the sky. I'm going to leave some white space for some clouds, and I'll add the white in for those shortly. So just bring the colour across there. If it's a warm day like it is today, then you might need to just add a little bit of water as you go into your paints, just to make sure that they're flowing. So just bring in the colour in first of all, just for the main blue parts. Okay, with a different brush, I'm going to add in some white now for the cloud shapes. So I'm doing some rounded strokes with the brush. So who's making them wispy. As I say, so do think about the brush strokes, you know, as you're painting, and the rounded ones work well here. So let's blend that blend the blue and the white together. A bit more over here. So just make sure you've got plenty of each colour mix. So if you find the blues drying out a little bit, you can always add some more in, as long as you've got plenty of the colour mixed ready. Ideally, you don't want to run out of that colour, because you don't want to stop painting to remix a colour that you need. So ideally have, as I say, plenty of the colour that you're going to need. Let's bring the blue down there. Right, I'm going to also add a little bit of this sort of slightly darker blue at the base of the cloud. So this is a bit of ultramarine here with a little bit of white added and a touch of permanent rose as well, that pink, and I'm just going to just work in a little bit of that colour, as I say, bottom of the clouds. Bring some of that colour into this cloud as well. And just soften those all down. Do a little bit of blurring, dragging the brush across. A bit more white there. Okay, so just blend that in. Okay. A bit more blue, slightly lower. Then let's move down now to the colours for the hills here. And I'll go slightly bluer as we go into the distance here. A little bit of white in as well. So let's put these colours in. Again, using the flat brush. Don't worry too much about where these colours join with the rocks, because there's going to be trees later on that's going to fill that space. So I'm just putting in the main lines, and again, if it's a hot day, it's a very hot day today as I'm working, we'll put some water in. It just helps the flow of the paint just a little bit more. Just got to keep these paints flowing. Putting in a little bit. It's quite nice just to dip into different colours and mix them on the canvas here, you know, as you work. Go a bit higher with that line there. Right, now I'm going to brighten things up. A bit more of a green base coming in here now. So this is phthalo green that I'm using. Put a little bit of the lemon yellow in as well. Let's just block this in. Again, don't worry too much about those edges, as I say, because there's going to be trees there later. So we go a bit greener here as we come forward, brighten things up a little bit. But also I'm going to put a little bit of this permanent rose in. That also gives a bit of variety, and it dulls some of the greens in places as well. So we get a mixture of the more intense colours and then the less intense ones. So let's put a bit of that colour in. So it's quite interesting what you can do with the paint strokes as you work, giving different effects as well. So I'm just using sort of dabbing kind of marks here that I'm using the brush to create. So that's kind of greener there as we've come forward. So I think what we'll do is we'll leave it there for now, and then we'll move down. Let's put some colour in actually for the water at the base of the waterfall. So let's just do that next. And we'll just go right the way across the bottom of the canvas here with a large brush. This is a 2-inch brush. So let's just bring the colour all the way across. So just making sure that the canvas is covered with this colour. As I say, at the base of the waterfall. Just turn the brush to the side when I just want to make some thinner strokes. Put a bit of white in there as well, just kind of lighten things up. Bottom here I've got some phthalo green, so I'm going to blend a little bit of that in to give a slightly different colour there at the base. Okay, so the next thing, let's now move on to putting some of the colour onto the actual waterfalls themselves. So I'm going to start with a slightly a bluish colour. It's that colour we used on the clouds, so it's ultramarine, a little bit of permanent rose and white. So what we're going to do is we're going to add some of that in as the sort of base colour on the waterfalls themselves. So we're going to use white later, but let's just start with this as a base, because it's not too bright. It doesn't show up as much as the white will on this brown that we've painted for the rock. So it just gives that base colour, and it's you know, I'm using a flat brush here, but it's fun to kind of twist the brush as you drag it down and to create some different, just let it sort of flow and you know, just enjoy experimenting with the brush strokes. Just see what they can do. You just turn the brush and you'll get the you know, the effects of water coming down. So we do want some of the rock colour to come through. So it's kind of balancing, getting the light in, but you also want to try and keep some of that dark as well, which is also really important. So we're just going to let that flow down here. So I'm varying the pressure as I use this colour as it comes down. So some areas I'm just pressing a bit harder with the brush, and other parts just a bit lighter, and then you don't get so much paint on the canvas if you're not pressing so hard, and you get different effects. So that's important, that we're thinking about these different effects that we can create just by twisting the brush, just by varying the pressure, and you can get so many different effects, and really enjoy the process as well. So just and you can practice these, you know, and yeah, practice these effects, you know, as many times as you want until you get it the way that you want it. So she's using, as I say, this blue at the moment. So what we'll do now is we'll actually move to the white, and we'll add some white in as well. So let's just do the same thing. This time it's going to be a little bit brighter, and we're twisting that brush again, starting at the top. And just enjoy what the paint does. You flick and just enjoy the effect, you know. I'm just to say, starting with more white at the top. So just thinking about how much white you have on that brush. And as we come to the bottom here, what we can do is add some white into this turquoise colour in a moment. So a bit more white there at the back as well. So I'm just adding in little bits of white, just tiny little bits of white, and just watch the effects. We'll put some trees over here in a moment, so I'm not going to worry, as I say, too much about these edges as they come down. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll bring a little bit of white here into this bottom area as well. So it's still slightly damp there, so that's just softening that down a little bit there. So put a little bit more white here. Just dragging a bit of that blue colour up there. A bit more colour here at the base. Just add a few more sort of white touches here, just to make things just a little bit brighter. Just a few flicks of the paint. Right then, so what we'll do next is we'll start to add some tree shapes in. So make sure we've got some colour ready, and we'll use a sponge for this. It's a very quick way of representing trees. So let's just and we can sort of tidy up that edge a little bit. And it's just suggesting, what we're doing all the time here is just suggesting what's there. So we put some darker green in as well as a base colour. We need the dark in there, so there's ultramarine in there. So the first green was phthalo green with a little bit of the lemon yellow, and the second green is phthalo green with a little bit of ultramarine blue. Just put a little bit of white in there as well, just to lighten things up a little bit more on the tops of some of these trees. Just get a bit of light in. Take that green back there, put a little bit more of the white in there. Bring that back with a bit of more white. Okay, so just go back there, just finish off green. And a little bit more, just white, just there. A bit more, the effect of water just in the distance there, but much, yeah, just not so prominent as the other areas. Bring a little bit of that rock colour back through there. I'm just putting a tiny bit of water on just to pull that colour back through. So while the colours are still damp, you can do that, a little bit of lifting off just to reveal a little bit more of that, as I say, that brown base colour coming through. I'll just put a little bit more of the blue in there. Just a bit more blue just there. So again, just dragging that brush down. So we reveal a little bit more of that rock colour again. So let's pull that back there. So we've got that kind of blue, which creates distance there, but at the same time, we just see the, as I say, the rock just coming through as well. Okay, that's fine. And what we'll do now is we'll just paint a tree trunk in on the left hand side in a second. Just finish off this little section. You can see what a little bit of lifting out can do. Right, so now let's paint the tree trunk in on this left hand side here. And with the paints on such a warm day, you are going to need to, as I say, re-wet the paint like I'm doing here, adding a bit of water in, because it really does dry up quite quickly, acrylics, so really affected by the temperature, but that's fine. You can just add some water in and it kind of revives them again. So just paint this this tree trunk at the yeah. Right, and what we'll do now is we will add some leaves, and we're going to use the sponge for this. It's such a quick way of working, and got a bit of dark there. That's okay. That gives a good good base actually for the leaves. So. So the sponges are very good because they, you know, they just create the effects of the foliage. You don't have to be too detailed about things. It just gives the like the impression of leaves, you know, and that's what we're going for here. We're not going for detail today at all. We're just going for effects, really. Let's bring some down here, picking up a little bit of the light as well, and the put a little bit of foreground in just to create a bit of sense of depth there. Just putting in some warm colours there at the front. Let's just go back and finish off a few more of the leaves up here. It's quite nice with the sponge because I'm dipping it into different colours. A little bit of the blue, the ultramarine blue, there's the lemon yellow in there, phthalo green, and a lovely variety of effects there. Okay. A bit more light here, just in the bottom section, and so here's my finished painting, and I hope you enjoy painting your waterfalls.